Hey guys, welcome to Priceless B Movies. A little while back I did a review for a movie called The Babadook, and in that review I made an off comment about, saying that, while I don't think child abuse is a good thing, I didn't think there was anything wrong with a person feeling from time to time like they really want to hit their kid. I'm not saying you should hit your kid, but all I said was something along the lines of like, you're normal. That's not a big deal if sometimes you want to hit your kid. It's just that you shouldn't actually do it. Well, I got a couple comments thrown at me on my Facebook page in comments and, in private messages off of that. And this is my response to that. Case 39. So Case 39 stars Renee Zellweger, or as I call her, the artist formerly known as Lemonface. In this film, Renee Zellweger plays Emily Jenkins. Emily Jenkins is a social worker, the kind of social worker that a lot of parents probably don't like because, you hear all the time about, people complaining, well, this social worker came to my house and they think I'm an unfit parent, whatever. I really have no place to call someone an unfit parent. That's not my agenda here. But that's the plot of this movie. That's the character that Renee Zellweger plays. She is a social worker and she works with child cases to basically check for signs of neglect and or abuse. Pretty early in the movie, she gets this new case put on her desk. Guess what number? And she has to go and check on this little girl named Lily. Lily is played by Jadelle Ferland. And Lily... she's a sweet enough little girl, but her parents, there's something really off about this girl's parents. There's almost this Piper Laurie and Carrie vibe going on with these two. They seem really odd, they seem overly religious, and they seem to really want to hurt their daughter. And not just in an abusive sense, they want to kill their daughter. Renee Zellweger obviously becomes really worried, and so she kind of steps in and tries to protect this little girl from danger. That's the basic premise of the movie. I really don't want to tell you anything more about this movie that the trailer doesn't kind of give away, because obviously there are some twists and turns here, but I will say that this movie was a genuine surprise to me. I actually saw this film back in, it was 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. I ended up with a screener of it. The movie had been filmed in 2006, but it was shelved. The studio shelved it for a number of years, and only a couple of lucky people like me were able to see it before its theatrical release. This means that I didn't have a trailer to go by when I saw it. I didn't even have much more than like a paragraph plot description to go by, so nothing was spoiled for me when I watched this movie, so I don't want to spoil anything for the people watching this review. If you have not seen the movie, I'm not going to shred every detail in this review for you. The cast in this is pretty good. Renee Zellweger is really hit and miss for me. I'm not going to say she's bad in this because I don't think she's bad in this, but I will say it's Renee Zellweger. I mean, she's just one of those people that whenever I see her, and it's really hard for me to convince myself that she's playing a character. I just kind of see Renee Zellweger up on the screen reading lines. Now, she kind of can't help that to an extent, but I'm sorry, that's just what I think of her. The supporting cast actually fares a lot better. We get Ian McShane as a detective friend of Renee's, and we also get Bradley Cooper in a way too small role as a psychiatrist friend of hers. Both those actors do pretty well with what they're given, but they are pretty one-dimensional. I think we get this problem with a lot of horror movies and thrillers. If you're a supporting character, you're not there because you're that necessary because you're that interesting. You're there because the plot needs you to be there for certain scare scenes. That's really the case with this film, so I can't really say they're good or bad. Said the same thing about Bad Dreams in my review for that. The supporting characters are there to be there. They're not fleshed out characters, not three-dimensional characters, but you kind of accept that because this is just that genre. These movies aren't going for Oscars. The standout performance here is actually from Jadelle Ferland as the little girl, Lilith. Lilith is basically, in this role, Jadelle has to put across so many emotions. You have to feel so sorry for her at times and be absolutely terrified for her. But then there are other scenes where she just kind of has this whole different angle, kind of has this whole different side to her character, and she masterfully blends every element of this character. The best performance in this film is from the child actress. Case 39 is actually a very tricky movie for me to review for a number of reasons, but the biggest one being that, as a critic, I try not to give away plot points that, try not to tell the audience things that I wouldn't want to know before I see a movie. But because this film has so many twists and turns, I can basically only tell you about the first 20 minutes of the film, which I already have, because this movie takes so many different forms over the course of its length. However, as complicated as it is for me to try to review this film, and for as hit and miss as I think some of the main performances are, I cannot deny that this movie has a lot of very genuine scares. There were a number of times when I watched this movie the first time, and even when I watch it now, and I've seen it a handful of times, where I feel genuinely afraid for certain characters. It's hard for a horror movie to do that these days when everything becomes so kind of formulaic, and while there is a formula to this movie, it is still a very effective horror film, and a very disturbing horror film at times. Gonna give Case 39 3.5 stars out of 4, but I'm also going to say that I think until you watch the movie, you're not going to quite understand why I am. If you just go online and look up other reviews for this, you're going to find a lot of bad reviews. To those critics, I just have to say that I don't really think you watched the movie. I think you were biased going into this. I think you were unwilling to see just how smart and how scary this movie actually is. I think there are some movies like The Conjuring and Oculus that get a lot of great reviews and that I think are really formulaic and don't make sense and are really dumb. And then when movies like Case 39 come around, I think they're really smart and really scary, and a lot of other people just seem to think it's stupid. And I don't know, maybe I just don't see these movies the way that a lot of people do sometimes, but I think Case 39 is a wonderful thriller and a movie that you're going to watch and be very entertained by. So that's my review of Case 39. Stay tuned, I got a lot more reviews coming your way. Also, if there's a movie you can think of that is either overlooked or underappreciated and you would like to hear what I think about them, please let me know in the comments section below, and I'll see what I can do about checking out a copy of that movie and putting up a review for you. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Priceless B movies.